Hello guys and welcome back to Dark Horse FM, and in today's video we're going to be testing out the KNAP KASHMIR 2323 tactic. It's a unique tactic. It's kind of something I've been looking for a while now. I was looking for a different shape as to how you can shape a football manager tactic, and three strikers looks like something interesting. I haven't actually really tried three strikers before, so as I stumbled on the NAP tactic, it looked interesting. And then with the central midfielder on attack and the Metala on attack as well is something I really want to try in FM22. So when testing out this tactic, I actually went to the German Bundesliga. So I picked out three teams. The first team is Eintracht Frankfurt. That's the first team I'm going to be testing with the tactic. They're somewhat a mid-table side, and they're expected to qualify for Europe in general. That's where I see Eintracht Frankfurt. They're going to be a team that's going to be in and among the top 8 or the top 7 teams in the German Bundesliga. The second team on the list is Borussia Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund are going to be my elite team, or the version of my elite team in this tactic. I didn't pick Bayern because Bayern is always expected to win the league, and I'm actually picking Dortmund because I want to see how well Dortmund would do if they actually end up toppling Bayern from with the ones that are going to win the trophy. So Dortmund's objective is basically to try and win the league, even though they are the second best team in the land. The last team is, I do hope I pronounced that correctly, but Greuther Fürth as the next team on the list are the team that is predicted to finish last on the table. So they are the team I'm going to use as my underdog setup. So they are the underdogs in this particular test. And for Greuther Fürth, I actually picked a different shape of the Kashmir tactic. Now, the previous tactic that we saw with Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt is actually a 2-3-2-3 system. But there is another version of the Kashmir tactic, which is a 4-3-3 system with the narrow strikers. So ideally, it's going to be, you might say it's a bit unfair, but I'm giving Greater Foot a safer version of the tactic, but that's because they're the team that's predicted to finish last on the table. So giving them a tactic that maybe has a bit more defensive solidity might help them get better results. So if the objective for Greater Foot, obviously, it may not exactly be to not get relegated. I might expect more from them. Maybe if they can finish mid-table, it's going to be a success. So the tactics are quite different. So I'm going to have to cover the safer version of the tactic. That's the 4-3-3 that is assigned to Greater Foot, and then we'll see how it actually changes in the more advanced attacking version that I'm using for Eintracht Frankfurt and Borussia Dortmund. So the super keeper has an instruction to just tackle harder. He is a super keeper on attack duty. The fullbacks are complete wing backs on attack duty as well. They are asked to take more risk and close down more. Both fullbacks, okay, not identical instructions as I can just see. The complete wing back on the left hand side actually has take more risks and tackle harder, while the one on the right has take more risks and close down more. So something quite tricky there from NAP. And then both ball playing defenders, the central defenders are both ball playing defenders, and they have stay wider and tackle harder for both central defenders that are ball playing defenders. And the defensive midfield position is a standard defensive midfielder on support duty, and then he has been asked to pass it shorter, shoot less often, close down more, tackle harder, and mark tighter. The Metala on attack duty is the central midfielder on the right hand side, and then he has been asked to also pass it shorter, dribble more, shoot less often, mark tighter, and tackle harder. Beside him is the central midfielder on attack, so both players on this row are actually playing on attack duty, and then the defensive midfielder is supporting them. The central midfielder on attack has take more risks, dribble more, shoot less often, move into channels and tackle hard and mark tighter. Now I understand the instructions because there's a lot of movement in the attacking position. The false nine is going to drop down into this deeper area a lot more. So the attackers, the central midfielder on attack duty and the Mezzala, indeed the Mezzala, they will also get forward into those spaces left behind by the false nine. In attack, we have two false nines, one on the left and one on the right of the advanced forward on attack. The false nine on the right hand side has room from positions and move into channels, while the false nine on the left hand side, while the false nine on the left hand side has the same instructions, room from positions and move into channels. The advanced forward has take more risks, tackle harder and mark tighter, and he's the central striker. The team mentality for this tactic is very attacking, which is really, really strange for using a team that is predicted to finish last on the table to play with a very attacking mentality. But we're going to see how that's going to work out for them. When the team is out of possession, they've been asked to have a much higher line of engagements and also to press much more often. So there's a lot of pressing in the tactic, but the defensive line is left to standard. So that's pretty much all the instructions here. Okay, the players have also been asked to prevent short goalkeeper distributions. When in transition, the team has been asked to counter press and to counter, and then the goalkeeper has been instructed to distribute the ball to the centre backs. In possession, the team has been asked to play with an extremely high tempo. The width is quite standard, so it's wide for a very attacking system. And then in the final third, the players have been asked to walk the ball into the box while playing a shorter with slightly shorter passing directness. So short passing is actually included here. So that's the summary of the tactic for the safer version. That's the 4-3-3. So let's jump into Borussia Dortmund and see just how well they do, or indeed, let's see the more expressive, more attacking version of the Kashmir tactic. So it's a 2-3-2-3 system, quite similar to the one that we just looked at, just that the wing backs here are a lot higher and the instructions might be slightly different. So looking at the sweeper keeper, then same instructions, tackle harder. The ball playing defenders also have, okay, they don't have the same instructions as the previous tactic. They have just been asked to pass it shorter. That's all the ball playing defenders have been asked to do. The defensive midfielder in this tactic has been asked to pass it shorter, shoot less often, close down more, and mark tighter. While the fullbacks in this tactic, they actually have the same instructions as the fullbacks in the previous tactic. They've been asked to pass it shorter, shoot less often, close down more, and mark tighter. It's the same instructions for both fullbacks, both complete wing backs on either side, the left and the right. The central attacking midfielder is the central midfielder on the left with an attacking instruction, central midfielder on attack, and he has been asked to take more risks, shoot less often. For the Metala on the right, he has been asked to pass it shorter and shoot less often. The Metala is a Metala on attacking duty. The false nine is, remember, there are two false nines on either side of the advance forward. So the false nine in this tactic has been asked to pass it shorter, and the same instruction goes for the false nine on the left hand side, while the advance forward has been asked to pass it shorter, take fewer risks, tackle harder, and mark tighter. In the out of possession instruction, then the team has been asked to, well, as you can see, is a bit more adventurous and a bit more aggressive than the previous tactic. They have been asked to have a much higher line of engagement while pressing much more often. The team has also been instructed to play with an offside trap, while they have also been asked to get stuck in and also prevent short goalkeeper distribution. In transition, then they've just been asked to counter press and to counter, expecting that in this sense there isn't a goalkeeper instruction, because for a better team they're going to expect the goalkeeper to have a bit more eccentricity, and then he can also make his decisions on where he wants to actually play the ball and how quickly he wants to play it out from defense. So in the in possession phase now, the team has, these possessions are quite identical with the previous tactic. The team has been asked to have a slightly shorter passing directness while playing higher tempo. Okay, compared to the other tactic, the tempo was extremely high, but in this version is a higher tempo. The team has also been asked to walk the ball into the box while running at defense. They've also included the play out of defense instructions, but the attacking width is still identical or standard based on the team's mentality. So that's a wide attacking width for a very attacking mentality. The team mentality is very attacking. So that's all for the tactic in details. We're going to see how well these two teams, or these three teams in rather, actually perform with the tactics. And just to recall, Borussia Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt are using one version of the tactic, which is the more adventurous version of the Kashmir tactic, the 2-3-2-3 version. While Greuther Fürth that has been predicted to finish last on the table, they are using a more cautious version of the Kashmir tactic, which is a 4-3-3 with two fullbacks playing in a deeper position. So guys, we're back at the end of the season now, and then currently, well, to be fair, I have to admit that none of the managers have been sacked. So that's, to be honest with you, that's a very good sign, because when I run this test, sometimes one manager always gets sacked, and I don't know why that happens, because of bad results maybe. So looking at the competition first, because I'm just eager to look at how this thing went down. Okay, Borussia Dortmund did not win the league, but then they finished 1 point off FC Bayern Munich, and they lost 4 games and Bayern lost 3. So they lost to Bayern twice. That's 2-0 on either side. Both home and away, they did lose to Bayern. But something that stands out for me now is 87. The goal difference of 87. Borussia Dortmund scored, I think, 17 more goals than Bayern that actually won the league. So looking at the team stats, then we can see that Dortmund, Frankfurt, and Greuther Fürth that were predicted to finish last, had 68 goals. Borussia Dortmund had 134 goals in how many appearances? This is probably the highest I've ever seen. Come on. They had 134 goals in 34 appearances. Are you kidding me? Now I'm eager to see how many Erling Haaland got for himself, because I'm sure he played as the front man. So Erling Haaland scored 49 goals, but then Greuther Fürth and Branimir Hrgota, the Swedish, scored 25 goals. Lewandowski still ran in there with 32 goals, but then Eintracht Frankfurt also had 2 of their players in 4th and where we paired between 5th and 7th. Rafael Santos Borre and Jens Hage, they actually scored both between them 19 goals. So that's quite a lot of goals for these players. In assists as well, a lot of Eintracht Frankfurt and Borussia Dortmund players actually had a lot of assists. You can see the fullback in there, Rafael Guerrero and Thomas Meunier. They shows as well. They actually scored. They nailed to a lot of assists basically. We can see in the cup run that Borussia Dortmund lost to Atalanta in the Europa Conference League or the Europa League. Yeah, this is like the Europa League. But then the DF Pokal, Eintracht Frankfurt, sorry, lost to Atalanta, but then they went on to win the DF Pokal. So this is Eintracht Frankfurt's result. They finished sixth in the league, but I tend to forget where they were supposed to finish. I think they were supposed to finish seventh, or they were predicted to finish seventh, but they finished sixth in the league. But they had their one achievement is the fact that they won the German Cup, the DFB Pokal. They scored their goal difference is plus 25, and the team above them, FC Cologne, has just one. So Eintracht Frankfurt did score a lot of goals. Going to the lower part of the table, then Greuther Fürth, using the more cautious version of the tactic, they lost 18 times, and then they conceded a lot of goals, and then they have a goal difference of minus 39. But something that stood out for me, they did not get relegated. They had 36 points. So they had 10 wins compared to the other people that actually ended up getting relegated with 3 and 2 wins each, and then they lost about 25 games. So Grutterford did well in their own sense, but they stayed up in the league. So the tactic helped them good so far, I guess. So guys, that's how the KNAP Kashmir tactic worked out. You can download either version. I'm going to find a way to attach the link in the description. That means I have to actually search FM Scout for the link of where I downloaded this tactic from. So that's basically how the tactic worked out for Eintracht Frankfurt and how it worked out for Borussia Dortmund and how it worked out for Grutterford. You can try it for yourself, and obviously a more hands-on approach is going to help you get better results with this tactic. I didn't use a hands-on approach here. I used a more simulating the entire season, and then no signings made, no staff made, no training sessions, just a blank random simulation of the tactic, and they actually ended up getting good results with this tactic. So thanks for sticking out with the video, guys. If you like videos of tactic testing like this for teams that are obviously not that famous in Football Manager, well, three that I think I tested were quite famous, but remember to leave a like on the video if you found it useful, and if you need this tactic, I'm checking the description down below. I'm going to attach the link in the description. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next video.